Okay, we're
And
live.
we're live. Hi
Cool,
everyone,
cool.
I'm May.
I'm Alex.
Great.
Marco here.
So,
Um, yeah, so today we're going to talk about Huawei Cloud, right?
Yeah.
We left
yeah.
it at the end of the show last week,
hmm
and as usual, I dig out a bunch of documents and start reading up on Huawei Cloud. I also talked to one of the companies that we own, and we do a lot of online uh, selling, uh, and this company explained to me that because Alibaba, Taobao, and Tmall is such a big thing in China, they virtually like run the whole business on cloud. So
Mm,
and evidentially, I guess as a result, Ali Cloud is the biggest market share of cloud business in China. Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
And I think
So,
cloud is
yeah.
very
Go ahead.
interesting. Cloud has aspects to that. Cloud is like a one big word, and
Hmm.
it's very vague because cloud means you don't have it. That's pretty much it. Cloud cloud means you don't have it. It's somewhere else. It can be cloud computing. Means your computer doesn't have that much of a brain, right? Or
Yeah.
cloud storage means your computer doesn't have, or your phone or your devices don't have that much of a capacity. So cloud can be a lot of things, and but basically cloud means it's not in your local device,
Yeah.
and for that interpretation, it poses a lot of interesting ideas, right? Why you send your information somewhere else, or even why you, I mean, computation, no power, I understand, because we don't have enough computing power. That's great, but but it's vast, so it's interesting, and I think in the world, cloud services, they are expanding, and I think a lot of people are competing. I personally always go for underdog, but my company, software company, that manage funds and money and crypto, we use AWS, and we've been using it for a while because we're familiar with it. We know what we can do. But Huawei is like something that people introduce to us a lot.
I
So
see.
I think thanks to Marco, helped me dig things up so that I don't have to work that hard to find out information I want.
That's not true. But let's go for the number
Yeah.
for just discussion sake. So I dig out this report from McKinsey Digital. Um, they said that in 2021, China cloud industry is relatively small. It's a 32 billion US dollars market. Well, to give you some perspective, the world global cloud market is now 482 billions. So 32 billions is only like a tiny factor of the
Like
global market.
112. Yes.
Yeah, and China being a big economy, the second largest in the world, that is small. And you can imagine the potential of the growth moving forward. Um, and so this report also said that in 2025, that market is expected to be 90 billions, and so almost three times the size of today. So there's a lot of growth. And Huawei being a sort of server router company, they are very, I guess it's very natural for them to develop this cloud technology uh, and uh, and try to like harvest the growth from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I
Alex,
think,
what do you think?
okay,
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, mate, go ahead. Sorry.
right. What exciting about cloud is I'm come from the very previous generation. I think we all from the very Gen X generation. So I think we are transiting from the local host, like local devices, our own computer, and everything runs in our own computer, to start to have email for the first time, right? We came from no, when we were born, no emails, phone calls, dial, fixed line. And then we have internet, modem, and then we
Mhm.
have search, and then email is a big thing, and
Yeah.
then we have email, and then we start to have like slow mails, and then we come to, so we see this, or we have this thing in the local devices, and then email is the first thing that we put our information out there, our
Mm.
pictures, we send it to others, and it's like on cloud and on someone else's servers, and we go there. And I see the transition. We're working like my company, Wow Lab. We doing software manage financial software management, and we're running on cloud, and
Mm.
we're running on AWS. And then the reason is it's easy to scale, it can expand,
Yeah.
and it can withhold a lot of stress and lots of bandwidth, and then so it's auto scale. But I
Yeah.
still see that in parallel, people will use simple strategies, similar but more simpler strategies to us, using localhost, right?
Mm.
And then I see how fast we scale, and
Yeah.
how a person running things on a local host can't scale, though he's a very bright guy, knowing things a lot, know a lot of things, but he running this algorithm on a local host, and there's a struggle there. And
Yeah.
then we're transiting from the very local thing to to on the cloud, and merely just because and it's only because it's easier, it's
Mm.
more efficient, right? I won't be able to do any that I do today 10 years ago, just because there's no cloud,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I can't scale. And it's going to be super costly for me to have everything ready just in time of the peak,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
just in case of a peak. So like the peak time or high volatility. So that's my take on the clouds. It's very interesting to see, and I feel like things going to be more and more and more on cloud, because
Yeah.
people are more trusting to the computer and network system, and and because it's easier, and
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you personal questions. Do you have anything on cloud? Personal, from the personal point of view, not the corporate.
I use iCloud. I, I
You use
I
iCloud.
have everything on iCloud because when I change my phone, my computer, I don't transfer data. I just log into my iCloud and then everything is there.
Ah, cool.
Of course, people argue that it's on cloud. What about your personal information? I used to worry about that, but nothing happened to me yet. Probably because I'm not that important. So I just kind of roll with it because it's just easier for me. Yeah, all my
But doesn't mean,
photos, all my emails, all my
yeah,
even like important documents, it's all on iCloud right now.
Mm.
right.
I have yeah, same thing over here too. I mean, I have iCloud. I don't think I'm that interesting enough for things to be salacious. So, and my personal philosophy in life is, you know, always think positive of other people. And if there's something negative, never ever write it in a message or an email, or never write it down or document it, because it always come and bite you. So there's nothing salacious out there for me to put out there. Everything, it's all an open book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm I'm not only trusting, but also trusting in the fact that nobody really wants to harm you that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's two parts, and this is like this is interesting in topics to talk about, and maybe we can touch briefly, and we can talk about this next time, because there are lots of saying, especially from the elders, if you don't do anything wrong, then there's nothing to be scared of, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I didn't do anything wrong, but sometimes I have quirky photos, like I might eat durian with rice, and that's going to be very disgusting. And I took the photograph, and I don't think I did anything wrong, but I
Yeah.
don't want this knowledge to be out there. And it's like this
Mm,
person eat durian with rice and fish sauce, which is going to be super disgusting. But
wow. Interesting.
but it's private. It's nothing wrong, right?
Yeah.
But but there's certain information that I might not know it's sensitive until it's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they could be put out of context, or they could do anything with it, right? Like, like,
Yeah.
sometimes like, free pop-up ads is like, hot dates in Thailand, and all of a sudden a picture of a girl with cereal, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
whoa, I didn't, yeah. One time I even went online a couple of years ago when Yahoo was in, like, they have like Yahoo, like this advertising for Yahoo, and it took a picture of my sister's ex-boyfriend. I'm like,
Really?
why is the picture on there? But I mean, he's not a model or anything. But I'm like, Nat, do you know that like Mike's picture is on there? Like, oh my god, like but yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's a stock photo or something, but it's just a picture of him all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's like I know that guy. So you never know.
Really?
Sometimes it's like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
so yeah. So to reply back to you that you don't have anything bad or in the photo or informations or your contents, but it might be something funny, right? If you might do funny face, and you don't want people to see those. I mean, those are the things too that you don't want to get out. But but
Yeah.
how? But nothing happened. But if nothing happening now doesn't mean it's not going to happen in the future.
yeah.
I had these old pictures on Facebook. My wife thought they were bad and asked me to remove them. I guess, yeah. So, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I don't know if you consider that as bad. But anyways, I think the China cloud business. Thank you for bringing up this topic. I didn't know it was like that. If it's anything, I was under impressions that China cloud computing it's very dominant space because of how many people are playing online game every day, and how many people are actually shopping online in China. We talked about previously on China online shopping markets size is so huge, um, and you would think that a lot of people are on cloud already, but as it turns out that only really the online shopping people are now sort of online shopping people, and the video game people are on cloud, and the rest of the populations are not. And one of the numbers is about the conversion, right? So they break this McKinsey report actually did a really good job. They break it down into sectors, and one of the sectors is industrial,
Hmm.
so factories people, very labor intensive people. They are, they encounter for more than one quarter of the total GDP of China, but only 9% of them has converted on cloud. So there's a huge gap there. I'm sure a lot of these US or Western Europe based manufacturers are on cloud already. I guess to manage the supply chain, SAP is on cloud. A lot of these like enterprise software is actually on cloud. Um, China is not like that. A lot of these factories are still running local servers.
But do you know why? I didn't read the full report, but
Yeah,
does it say
so
why?
they investigated. I think they like asked about 278 decision makers on of these companies, and apparently most of them are concerned about uh, intellectual property being stolen by other people when it's being put on cloud. What is that? Here's the concerns. High availability and resistance. Okay. Yeah, so mostly it's concerned about the cost and effectiveness, the security concern, and the
Hmm.
concern of regulatory compliance. Yeah,
Ah, ah.
I think it's a trust issue.
yeah. So as
I'm
a
sure it's a
result,
trust issue.
a lot of them do understand they have to convert themselves, their business on cloud, like you mentioned before. It's a scalability thing. If you keep building these servers, you might as well become an IT company instead of a manufacturing company. Um, so they do know that as they need to scale up, they need to start using cloud. But instead of going to public cloud, a lot of them are thinking about building a private cloud.
Ah,
I mean, it's kind of like contradicting each other, right? So you build a private cloud, it's still like you trying to be an IT company.
Mm.
But a lot of them, only 5% of these companies, decision makers, uh, think that they're going to build uh, a private cloud by themselves. Only 5% of them. Most of them are thinking about using a consultant, some expert, or we call it, they give them a term called the cloud service provider. So I think Huawei, it's well positioned in that aspect. It's a hardware company, it's an IT company, uh, because of the sanction of the U.S. a few years ago. Starting a few years ago, they started to develop their own CPU also. So they're well equipped. They're ready to roll out their servers and their cloud services to these people. Yeah.
It's amazing how a lot of times the U.S. would do something to mess with a company or a country, and then they just end up just building it out themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, okay,
Yeah.
you're not gonna cook for me. I'll cook myself, and they become like 5-star chefs. So
yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Huawei has a long way to go. I mean, like a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
And looking from the China point of view, Huawei might be the first top, maybe this is like the first top of mind brand that people in China is going to use, and basically because it might be much easier for them to relate to.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
And but I understand those people who want their own cloud. I mean, in at one point I want to have my own um, photo photo storage cloud at home. Instead of putting it somewhere else, I could like Western Digital cloud at home that I can put my things there. I can sort my things. It has like small program that I can help like indexing my information there, and it's like almost hybrid. I have things at the local host, but still they connect to a service provider so that I can sort my own things out. And I
Yeah.
think that when I feel like it's too sensitive for people to have my data, I might rather have my data at home. So yeah, in at one point I was thinking about that, and then I thought, nah, it's not going to be much more expensive having everything outside where I
Yeah.
have both. I have Google and I have iCloud, just in case one day I don't want iPhone anymore. I
But the whole
still,
idea of like private cloud, I think as it's described here, I mean, we can define the definition later. It's something so new, I guess, it's yet to be well defined. But the definition on this report on private cloud, it's really just you owning the computation power in a server room, right? So you said,
mm,
okay, this computation power belongs to me. Nobody can use it. Uh, and I imagine a lot of times, like you probably go visit the server rooms, like, oh, this belongs to, you know, May, and that's it.
mm,
And then you probably never go back there and look at it again. Yeah.
mm.
But it's still
Yeah,
it's still kind of weird, right? If you think about it, like if you are already on cloud, why do you want to be private where
yeah.
the actual physical server itself is not in your possessions?
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's to ensure. I mean, this is on top of my head to ensure that you have enough of what you
Yeah,
need.
yeah,
But but well, my purpose of have everything on cloud is I mean it's personally because it's convenient, but from the company point of view because it's scalable.
yeah,
It's scalable and it's safe. So
yeah,
that's from the corporate point of view that I'm looking at. It's scalable, it's safe, it's fast, it's efficient, and
yeah,
that's are the criteria that we're looking at. So So when we have like large number of transactions coming in, we know that the servers can support it. And another part is because there's servers around the world.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that we have to do close to Japan, we're going to get AWS next to Japan, right? To make
Mm.
sure that we are going to get the first order. So we have to make sure that we're fast enough,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna choose the location of our AWS very close to the place where the service provider, another service provider is. So that's my criteria. I want efficiency.
Yeah.
So private cloud might provide that efficiency to people, instead of having their own computer, renting out, cloud as a service might
Yeah.
not be a bad idea instead of having your own. It's like a renting.
Yeah.
But on the scalability, I still doubt that if you have, you know, that that you told us about private cloud, that you have designated computing power or designated storage, then how you're gonna scale. Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
maybe you could go up and go down. The thing is, I got charged when the service has expand and then it's go back. So it's fine. It could go back and forth, and I think the option's still there. But I think it's not going to be a fixed option. That like, this is your private personal computing computational power, and that you can't go beyond here. So I think
Yeah. Yeah.
there's like little OD overdraft thing for the computational power. But
But
this
May,
is
I
me
think
rambling.
you touch on something really interesting. You talk about fast, right? And I
Right.
think, I mean, that's the whole thesis of Alex's sort of investment thesis is that because we have 5Gs and high speed network today, that's why cloud become available or valuable to us.
Yeah.
And then
Workable, at least.
workable, yeah. And then when 6G rolled out, then I think that explosions of cloud computing, it's going to be even more. It's going to be even like
Yeah.
crazier, yeah, and
Sure.
more possible more things can be possible on cloud. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said about cars, right? So like right now, you it's hard for you to imagine your car connected to a satellite and it's trying to upload all your driving data to a cloud and then having a cloud to compute all the routes and the immediate sort of turns instruction in downloading to your
Yeah.
car. Yeah.
And that, like, no, somehow a little like deer just ran right in the middle of the road, and you have to avoid it, and the cloud somehow is able to just go. "Ba-doop." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we still need local device. Like the car has to be able to have like simple function, but a lot of like heavy computational things, like to collect behaviors of a driver, and
Mm.
then see how wild or traffic jam and things like that. We need cloud computing, but I think still local machine is still necessary. I believe that local machine still going to be very powerful and more powerful than now, um, because things are much easier in the local machine, right? And and we have to understand that there might be a chance that we're not connected to internet. So the local
Mm.
machine needs to do like operate like the basic functions. So I think local machine is going to be like more powerful than ever in the years to come. But
Yeah.
cloud's going to be crucial for our daily lives. Like
Yeah.
and I
Totally.
think people will learn to be dependent on cloud. You wake up, you want to know if it rains today, and you might want to know more than it rains, right? Like how
No
are
pun
the
intended.
feelings of population? Yeah, like
Yeah.
people drive like this on the road today means that intensity of people in this population is this area is like people more stressed because of their behavior, or people feel chirpy and there's just chopping a lot, and you have all the tracking, you're gonna have all the analytics and all the informations, like show you how it looks like, and I think it's fun to have predictions. and informations, and I feel like right now I'm heavily relying on information that's provided to me over the internet a lot, like weather
Mhm.
forecast. It's going to be rain, it's going to be flood, it's this and that. So yeah, it's going to be crucial from the industrial point of view, and in the personal point of view too. Industrial, it's going to be crucial too, because then you can scale
Yeah,
your operations. You can scale your
100%.
operations, yeah,
And
easily.
I think probably because China used to be like so used to this sort of labor intensive manufacturing process, and since you have all the laborers in front of you, you probably don't need to have any kind of
Mhm.
IT technology cloud to help you to assist you. But I think as a fact that it's not a secret. China labor cost is growing very quickly. We CP also suffer from this. We have to cut down people and pay them higher salary, and we need to find a way to work more effectively. So we have to put in a lot of these automation, a lot of these software to help us to become more effective. And like you said, the next progression is going to become scalability. How do you get scale from all these um, software automations? And yeah, you can just put in more servers uh, and just exponentially increase your cost and your IT staff, and you might as well become an IT company instead of a manufacturing company. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think Huawei
yeah,
comes in at a very, very good time to do this. And yeah, I guess we should dig in more about what Huawei is trying to do. If I understand it correctly, they're trying to become kind of like an IBM in the old days, where IBM has all the servers. So when the US, uh, the whole sort of banking industry trying to convert into the Y2K, IBM actually created this consulting group where they act as consultants,
Mhm.
but they also selling these servers to banking industry, um, and it benefited the company tremendously in the early 2000s. I think Huawei is doing the same thing right now with cloud and all these industrial companies.
yeah. And I think when you
Yeah,
need a lot of high securities,
yeah,
um, it's difficult, super difficult to have, yeah, and it's very expensive too to have a local system that provides you high security in the level of banking or financial institutions level, and still, and it's going to be super costly. But
yeah,
cloud, so you have like one technology that can provide to the mass, then it's going to be much cheaper, and it means that the barrier to entry when it comes to in like industry, like in financial and banking, the barrier to entry might be lower because the software, the infrastructures, it's going to be very expensive, right? And number of people, you need a lot of number of people, and clouds reduce number of people, and actually in a way blockchain might reduce number of people too. That's why when you
yeah,
have these infrastructures, new improved infrastructure in place, you reduce a lot of transaction cost and fees, and then the bank that stick with the old technology because they already invested, then they have a lot to improve in terms
yeah.
of the competitive advantage. So for that, then there's a room and people will see opportunity, like, oh look, if there's this, they can provide this much of the security with this little cost,
Mhm.
then maybe we can partner up and become a financial institute ourselves.
Mhm.
Yeah. So May, when you do look into Huawei, like do share your experience with us, and maybe we can accumulate more knowledge for the next talk.
Yeah.
Well, when I look into Hawaii, just numbers, right? It's
Hmm.
not. it's not. I have not yet experienced the Huawei
Hmm.
products, so that part I can't say anything.
Yeah.
But I look at the numbers, and actually next talk we can, well, I can't be very creative because clouds, stemming from clouds, it's going to be a lot of things. I think next topic, my suggestion is we're going to do a very, very broad and of what can stem from having everything in the world connected. That's what's going to happen in a couple of
Mm.
years from now.
Yeah.
Everything it's going to be so connected in a weird way. It's through clouds, through a lot of things. Everything is connected, and everything is going to be computed,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
No,
so
totally. 100%.
so so since you're going to invest, and since you're already looking for opportunities to invest,
Mm.
and why don't we just talk about something in the future and
Yeah.
see what are the things that wait for us in the future,
Yeah.
opportunities, money, and
Maybe
and
specifically when 6G rolled out, what would the world be like?
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's
So
a
we
whole
kind of like
paradigm.
go through in our heads on what possible when 6G rolled out. Yeah.
I think it's going to be the whole paradigm actually. So you
Yeah.
see the 6G from the mobile, you see the satellites, right? And
Yeah.
you start to see clouds coming in. You start to see blockchain and remittance helping you with the money and transfer. You start to have CBDC, right? Like blockchain version of or DLT, digital ledger, distributed ledger technology for the digital money in the fiat
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And then you start to see the rise. I don't think you're going to touch quantum computer just yet, but you start to see the supercomputer growing. You start to see architect growing. You start to see a lot of things
Yeah.
growing, and the whole paradigm is shifting.
Yeah.
And and actually, I had a lot of fun daydreaming about how the world is going to look like in a couple of years, because when
We
you look
can
at this Gartner
no,
chart,
we can
and
talk about
it's
quantum. We can talk about quantum computing. I think the fancy term is called like post quantum security, right? So like a lot of people think like quantum computers is gonna have a much easier time to hacking people's network because they can calculate a single answer questions very quickly, so they can hatch a lot quicker. Um,
Well,
yeah.
let me give you like super brief explanation. If I speak Korean and you speak Mandarin, right?
Mm.
And I will not be able to communicate to you. So quantum computer talks differently from the security system. So yes, it can be as bright as advertised. The IQ of that Korean
Yeah.
person might be 180, but
No.
still it can't convey
Yeah.
any message. So so yeah, quantum computer, it can be super smart, can be super fast, but but they still cannot work, and
Yeah.
especially in the graphic area.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So so there are lots of flaws into quantum computing right now, false
Yeah.
tolerance and everything. So it's going to be a long way to go for quantum computer
Yeah.
to be like what they said, but eventually we're going to need quantum computer to to support all the system that we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, I'm so sorry to cut this short, but I actually might have to run out right
All
now.
right,
So,
and I think we're just
uh,
taking a lot of time already. So quantum computer next time then.
okay, great. Thank
Awesome.
All
you.
right,
Talk to you soon. Bye
talk to
bye.
you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.